Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review, and boy, what an anime am I reviewing today. This anime took the anime world by storm and quickly rose to very high places on the top anime lists of Anime Planet and My Anime List. You already know which anime I'm talking about. It's of course Boku dake ga Inai Machi, or The Town Where Only I Am Missing, best known under its alternative title Erased. So was this anime really as good as the numbers show? Let's find out. The main character of Erased is a 29-year-old male named Satoru Fujinuma, who leads a grey existence as a pizza delivery man. However, Satoru possesses a strange power called Revival. When Revival takes place, Satoru gets transported 5 minutes back into the past. This happens when something bad is going to happen around Satoru, and he then has 5 minutes to prevent this from happening. Now one day, tragedy strikes Satoru himself when his mother gets murdered and Satoru gets framed for the murder. Then Revival takes place, but this time Satoru gets transported 18 years into the past when he was in elementary school. This was also the time when 3 children of the school went missing and were found murdered. Is there a link with his mother's murder? Satoru embarks then on a mission to save the children and his mother. Now I always try to keep my reviews as spoiler free as possible, but there are some spoilers that I have to tell in this video because they mean a lot to me. But as usual, I will warn you when the spoilers are coming up, and I will provide you with a link to skip the spoiler part if you want to. Now let's start with the first of many positive points, being the animation. Now, the animation of the anime in general was as good as I expected to be from A1. But there's something else I want to tackle. And that's the fact that there was a difference in screen width between scenes that take place in the past and in the present. All the scenes that take place in the past are animated in a smaller screen than scenes from the present, where the anime uses widescreen. At first I found this to be a bit of a bother until I figured out what the meaning was of this difference. The use of the smaller screen width gives the impression that we're looking at a recording of the past. It's like a movie. This is then also linked with the opening sequence where we see young and older Satoru getting into a cinema and watch a movie. That was something that was very cleverly done by A1, bravo. Another thing I want to mention about the opening sequence, and this isn't really a spoiler so don't be alarmed, was that we can see the killer in the intro sequence. Now before you all go shouting spoiler in the comments, it's impossible to see it unless you know the exact moment when the killer appears. I learned this a few episodes before the end, and even if I tried, I still couldn't see it. The killer appears like half a second, so you won't even notice it. The connection between the smaller screen width and the past is also found in the opening song of Erased. This anime didn't use a new song, but instead a song that was released in 2004, being Riri from Asian Kung Fu Generation. Just like the screen width, this was again a reference to the past, which is so important in this anime. From the opening song, I can move to the ending song, Sore wa chisana na hikari no yona. The best ending song of this season. I loved it every single episode. By the way, if you want to hear an excellent piano cover of this song, I will put a link here to Taster's video. He made an amazing cover of this great song. I will also put a link to his channel in the description box so you can go check him out. So I've talked about the animation and the music. Let's then move to the characters, because Erased had some amazing characters, some in the positive sense and other in the negative. Let's start with the main character Satoru. If he was a real person, he could only be described as a hero. He always puts others before him and is willing to sacrifice everything to make sure that nothing will happen to those others, even when that has serious repercussions for him. how he kept on fighting to save his mother, to save Hinazuki, his relentlessness to make the good win over the evil no matter what, just made me have enormous amounts of respect for him. Next character I want to discuss is Satoru's mother Sachiko. What an amazing mother was she. She is the best mother figure I've seen till today in anime. Not only does she support Satoru in what he tries to accomplish, she also helps him and takes action when it's necessary. Like when the entire bullshit around Hinazuki and her mother comes out, she steps up and does something about it. That's not something you see often in anime, where a side character comes and makes the story move forward. Extend that to real life. How many people would act like Sachiko? Let me tell you, not a lot. Now, aside from her being an interactive character instead of just screen filling, like Satoru, she cares so much about others and shows so much empathy towards others. That is not only towards her own son, but also towards Hinazuki. Which brings me to me, one of the best scenes of the entire anime. That scene after Sachiko took in Hinazuki to get her away from her mother, and Hinazuki wakes up to see breakfast standing ready. A breakfast that was made with love, instead of just some change or a piece of toast. Oh my god, the feels were so real in that scene, I barely kept it dry there. To see Hinazuki, who had forgotten what it feels like to be loved, getting that sparkle in her eyes again by witnessing what a lot of us take for granted, made my heart break and dance at the same time. That was another confirmation of the awesome mother that Sachiko was. On the other end of the spectrum, we however had Hinazuki's mother. What a fucking irritating and completely apathetic bitch was she. Whoa, I hated her so much. It had been since Makoto from school days that I ever hated a character so much. That thing I don't even call a human being anymore. She didn't deserve to live. People like that don't deserve to live in my eyes. And when we get like her sad backstory, I didn't give one single fuck about that. There's nothing in the entire world that can justify her actions. Nothing at all. During that scene, I felt the same way that Hinazuki felt there. I don't give a fuck. You got what was coming for you, you bitch. Okay, let's calm down and proceed to the next positive point, being the cliffhangers in this anime. I'm surprised that I didn't have a heart attack at one of these cliffhangers. There were multiple episodes where the tension was building to such high levels that my heart was almost beating out of my chest, and then the anime would say, nope, not today. You can wait another week to see how it continues. But that's what made me look forward to Thursday every single week. Every week I was counting down the days till the next episode, because this anime had me glued to my screen of anticipation. With Erased, I felt the same way I felt with Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso last year. I couldn't wait till the next episode, and that's what makes a good anime in my eyes. Combined with those cliffhangers was the first episode, which made the entire anime community stand in awe. What a bombshell was that first episode. What a way to start your anime. You know, there are animes that from the first episode you watch, you know that it will be good, and Erased was one of those. I had put this anime on number 1 on my to watch list for the winter 2016 season because I had really high expectations. And after that mind-blowing first season, I knew that it wasn't going to disappoint me. Now comes the point where people who haven't watched Erased yet, which you should, to click this link on the screen. I'm going to discuss the story now and I will tell a few spoilers. So if you don't want this amazing series to be spoiled for you, click the link on the screen to skip the next part. The main point of the story I want to discuss here were the unexpected plot twists of Erased, starting with the identity of the killer. Honestly, I did not expect it to be Yashiro. I didn't. People were calling Erased out, saying that it was too clear who the killer was. But to me, it was just too obvious that it would be Yashiro. A1 perfectly used the concept of hiding in plain sight. They delivered so many way too obvious clues that Yashiro was the killer that it seemed unlikely that he was the killer. So when it then was revealed in episode 10 that Yashiro in fact was the killer all along, I was surprised. They fooled me into thinking that it was too obvious. Then the next two unexpected twists come from episode 11, which I like to call the yo what the fuck episode, because I said those same words a few times during that episode. Starting at the beginning, where we see Sachiko clearly turmoiled trying to live her daily life. And by the way the previous episode ended, I thought that Satoru was dead. It was so obvious. Too obvious that Satoru died, and I was waiting for some Deus Ex Machina moment to bring him back, which would have been a negative point. But then the anime completely blew me off my feet by giving us that scene where we see Satoru lying in bed, living like a plant, revealing that he was in a coma for the past 15 years. That was the first yo moment of this episode. This is why A1 Pictures is one of my favorite animation studios. They always do things that I didn't expect. The next yo moment is the moment where the community still talks about till today. And that was the reunion between Satoru and Hinazuki, and where we learn that Hinazuki has a child with Hiromi of all people. And then the anime world went apeshit. Everyone calling out Hinazuki that she anti-art Satoru, and everyone just kept hating on her for the fact that she was now with Hiromi. Now, you know from previous reviews that I absolutely despise NTR, but here I must counter all the Hinazuki haters. See, to me, this wasn't NTR. I mean, honestly, what did you expect? Satoru was in a coma that they didn't know if he was ever going to wake up from. Even if Hinazuki had feelings for Satoru, which we never got an official confirmation on, did you really expect her to wait by his side this entire time so that they could live happily ever after? Life goes on, and she moved on, and this unexpected turn of events made Satoru's character even more awesome. Because here again, he wanted Hinazuki to be happy. She is happy now, but it costs him his own feelings. More proof of the awesome character that Satoru was. And then we have the ending. Also here I want to counter the people that hated on the ending, because quite some people, including fellow reviewers Chibi and the Black Critic guy, were disappointed by the ending. They found that the way how the whole story ended was kind of lame. But again, what did you expect? That Satoru was going to kill Yashiro? Satoru just wasn't the character to kill him, and Erased wasn't the anime to kill Yashiro and be done with it. So I definitely wasn't disappointed by the end. It fitted this anime perfectly. So after that, at the bridge scene, I thought the anime was done and wrapped up. Until I saw that butterfly appear again, and I was like, what? And then we see that female figure standing in the distance, and I thought, could it be? Could it really be Airi? Because I had given up hope of her getting together with Satoru. And then it was Airi, and I must say, I was literally dancing of joy during that scene. My god, I was so happy to see Airi make a reappearance. It made me end this anime with an awesome feeling. Now I do have a few small remarks to make about Erased. The first one being that I felt that both Airi and Kenya weren't used to their fullest potential. Airi did have a big impact on the story midway through the anime, but it could have been more. And the same can be said about Kenya in the past. He could have had more impact on Satoru and on the development of the storyline as a whole. And another point is that some things weren't explained in the anime, like what happened between episodes 10 and 11. That's something that is explained in the manga, and there are more things that were skipped in the final 2 episodes. They also went quite fast over the psyche of the killer, and also that is explained in way more detail in the manga. Seems like another one for the ever-growing to-read list. So as a conclusion, I can only applaud A1 Pictures for delivering another awesome anime. I thought they would have needed a moment after the success of Shigatsu last year to come up with another great anime, but here they did it again. Erased glued me to my screen every single week, and that's why I'm going to rate Boku dake ga Inai Machi at a well-deserved 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think this will be one of those animes that when I rewatch it, I will discover more things that I now completely missed. Erased was definitely my anime of the season, and I wonder what's going to stop it from becoming my anime of the year. Everywhere on the internet that you read something about Erased, you will automatically see a recommendation for Steins Gate. Steins Gate is a widely appreciated anime, and it's one that I will definitely check out in the future. And with that I conclude my review of Boku dake ga Inai Machi. As usual, you can find a full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Plant. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put it in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu, and I will see you all in the next video.